of Law and Economics in GNLU and has been teaching this paper for almost 9 years to undergraduate students. Being one of being one of the many students that she has taught over the past few years, I'm incredibly glad to have her here today. Thank you so much, ma'am. And I would like to invite you to take on the responsibilities of a moderator.
Thank you, Khushi. Thank you so much. You know, I was also asked to say something. I don't want to take time, by way of introducing Professor Dr. Ram Singh. So after the factual and glorious details that have been spoken of by Khushi, I was really trying to say something beyond that. So I went into the internet. I said, I'll, talk about the papers that Sir has written, some, of course, that we're familiar with and other papers. And I saw around, 63 articles. So that became a little too difficult for me, 63 articles, other than a few, I will really not be able to do justice to them. And maybe we would need another conference just to discuss your papers, Professor. So I'll just say this, that law and economics was introduced in Gujarat National Law University because of multiple people, but one amongst them, and leading amongst them, would be Professor Dr. Ram Singh, because since students are here, maybe they would like to know this, that we had come to an arrangement that Professor will be teaching this subject. I'm sure he can go back to those days, and he had promised, yes, introduce it, and I will teach the subject. That was long back. And it so happened that Professor got very busy, and so I, because it was declared, and so I went into this challenge, which has been one of the most satisfying, explorations that I have done. And of course, seeing Dr. Thakkar, seeing so many students, and the entire journey, of course. So this is what Professor Ram Singh should be for GNLU's ecosystem of law and economics. I'll just say that and stop taking any further time. Professor Ram Singh, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Professor Nagar, and Khushi, thank you for very generous introduction, and Professor Nagar for your generous words, and also for delivering your message to me this afternoon very effectively in terms of what I agreed to do and what I did by way of teaching or not teaching law and economics at Gujarat National Law University. The message is well received, and it so happens that it is kind of related to the topic that I'm going to discuss today. So let me check, first of all, let me start sharing the slides and see if my slides work all right. Is there an option for me to share the slides? Participants, can someone switch audio?
Sri,
Is there a provision?
Make sir as a presenter. I think sir can't share right now.
Sorry?
Sri, can you share? Make sir as a presenter. I think. Is it?
Can you change some setting to allow me to?
Yeah.
Okay, I got the option now.
Yes, sir, I have made sir the presenter.
Let me see. Okay. Okay, I would need you to confirm that you can see the slides.
Yes, sir, we can see it.
Okay, so let me see if I can make slides full. Okay, do you see the title? Title of my talk?
Yes, sir.
And final confirmation, perhaps. Do you see slides moving as I move them?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. So at any point, if you find slides getting stuck or you can't hear me, do let me know. I will start with, a moment going back to points made by Professor Nagar. So, so I'm going to be talking about contracts. And every contract is a promise of some kind. Contracts, generally, the way lawyers look at contracts, they look at contracts as promises that are legally enforceable. But contract still remains a promise, legally enforceable promise. And in real life, we make promises that are legally enforceable, and other contracts that are not. We make promises that do not qualify as legally enforceable contracts. So it turned out, looking back, it turned out my promise made to Professor Nagar and her team, it was not a legal contract. It was a promise nonetheless, and it has been partially fulfilled. I'm hoping to make up for the extent to which that promise to teach at Gujarat National Law University remains unfulfilled. And the reason I have been able to get away by partial fulfilling of the contract is that it was not legally enforceable contract. But it turns out that contracts that otherwise are legally enforceable in the sense that they are written contracts, they involve consideration, they are voluntary contracts, they are put down on paper in black and white. And even when both sides agree that in case of dispute, disagreement, or non-performance, the other party can go to court. Even in such cases, the contracts can remain partially unfulfilled. The promiser can get away only by partial performance. That's the idea I want to capture in my talk today. I'm going to be talking about contracts in the context of public procurement, specifically contracts signed by government departments when government department want to build a building or want to buy a service from a private entity, then government signs a contract, a procurement contract. Under a procurement contract, just like in any other contract, in procurement contract also, government promises to make payment and the private side, the other side promises to deliver, depending on the delivery could be of a good, it could be of a service. But I'm going to be discussing when discussing goods, where good is actually requires building of assets. If you think, for instance, of road building, then government departments do not build road themselves. Government departments typically fund road building, railway buildings, railway stations, school buildings, university buildings, and so on. But they themselves do not carry out construction. The construction activity is carried out by a private firm, by a private contractor. So the contractor, when government department and private firm, they agree to sign a contract, government agrees to make payment, and private contractor agrees to build a road, pre-specified road. Now it turns out that like any other good, for any other good, what matters for roads and railways and other infrastructure is that its quality is very important. Its quality is very important, and a lot of issues arise on account of quality. That even though road gets built, but it breaks down, potholes appear after a decent monsoon. So that's a kind of a manifestation of poor quality. This used to be the case. This has been the case with our traditional contracts. Under the traditional contracts signed by PWD departments, state PWD departments, or other government departments, the contract, let's call them traditional contract, they require a contractor firm to build a road, or it could be other assets, it could be a railway line, it could be a building. So the contractor was required, is under a traditional contract, contractor is required to build the road, okay, but is not responsible for maintenance of the road. If potholes appear, then it is not responsibility of the contractor to repair them. Moreover, under traditional contracts, the government engineers, they do most of the engineering decisions. They decide, how a flyover is going to be built, whether flyover will be more of a mix of cement, concrete, and steel, or it's going to be mostly steel structure. Such engineering decisions are also taken by the government engineers. And then the private contractor takes these decisions and implement them. That's the job of a private contractor. So with this arrangement, there used to be well-documented problems. And problems in case of infrastructure used to be delays and cost overruns. Delays mean that if the contractor agreed to complete road building in 2 years, it will take 6 years. In some cases, it will take decades. And cost overrun means that the estimated cost, for instance, if estimated cost was only 100 crore, actual turned out to be several hundred crores. That would be an instance of cost overrun. So delays and cost overruns were frequent under traditional contracting scheme. I myself have studied this problem in several papers. And I found 80% of, more than 80% of projects suffering from delays or cost overruns or both. And the quality also used to be a serious problem. I am sure you are familiar with road conditions, roads where you see nice road before monsoon, and after a decent monsoon, potholes appear, and very soon it starts to look like bad road. So full of potholes and cracks and this and that. Therefore, in this situation, challenge is challenge for policymakers, government, state governments, central government, and this issue actually is relevant internationally also. Challenge before government is to come out with contracts or mechanisms that will guarantee timely delivery of project assets, roads, railways, and good quality, and also to objective should be the social objective. From law and economics viewpoint, objective will also be to think of contracts that will minimize life cycle cost. Life cycle cost would mean the cost of construction and also cost of maintenance. If you want to be little over ambitious about this objective, you will also care for maximizing net benefits, benefits minus all cost, life cycle cost considered together. So this is the objective, and the tool available are contracts along with other human resources with the government. I'm going to focus on the contract side. Basically, the message is that that if roads, most of our roads, or in some cases, many roads still look like the roads on left-hand side. The two road segments, they are Indian roads. All four roads, all four photos are of Indian roads. So when roads are built, most roads look like this. The day the building is over, they look very nice, fancy roads. But then soon they start to look like this, a road like this, with some wear and tear. And finally, if not attended, if not repaired in time, road starts to look like this. Now, if we ask a question that, whether this is inevitable, a road looking like this is inevitable. It is not. Whether a road will look like this or like this or like this, it depends on, basically, there are two crucial factors. One is the quality of construction, and second is maintenance, post-construction maintenance. So if initial quality of road is good, then it will take a road to deteriorate to this condition and to become this. It will take several years. If initial quality was bad, then very soon after one monsoon, it can straight away start to look like this. Maintenance, of course, plays a role. So from contract viewpoint is what kind of contracts can improve quality, initial quality of roads, construction quality, and also maintenance of the road. That's the issue. That's the research question. Now, this question would be easy to handle if quality were contractable. What do I mean by contractable? If we could write, if government department could mention quality as a part of contract. If it could say that that, look, you have to provide a good quality road and it should remain good. And you can use engineering, language engineering standards to define quality. If it was possible, if quality was contractable in the sense you could write it down in black and white, and if there was a deviation by contractor from quality, you could penalize the contractor. Then getting good roads, good quality roads built will not be a problem, because somebody who signs up on a contract could be made to deliver on quality. But this does not happen. This cannot happen in the context of infrastructure. Why it does not happen? As I mentioned earlier, when a road is built, all roads look nice when they are just finished, just completed. But whether a road, starts to look like this after 6 months or like this, it depends also on maintenance. Now, think of a road that contractor deliberately did not put in efforts and investment, and basically the contractor shortchanged on fact on quality, and as a result, roads started to look like this. If government were to take such a contractor to court, the contractor will allege contributory negligence on part of government. Contractor would say that I had to build a good quality road, but these guys didn't do maintenance. There was a water blockage. As a result, this road got damaged. So I am not responsible. Quality was good. The maintenance was bad. So when joint output depends on actions of different parties, parties can blame one another. In such a situation, it becomes almost impossible for a court to penalize the contractor. As a result, you rarely find any contractor getting penalized for poor quality. In India, you will rarely find that. There could be numerous legal disputes, but rarely contractors are penalized unless a flyover fell down or there were something serious that were easy to be blamed on the contractor. So formally speaking, the infrastructure contracts are incomplete. They're incomplete in the sense that either you cannot describe quality in black and white, or if you could describe, you could not verify deviation from quality before third party. So that's why. So in other words, within the letter of the contract, contractor can do many things. If they want, they can build good quality construction, or they can undertake poor quality construction to save their cost. So in that sense, contracts are incomplete. And they are incomplete because quality is non-verifiable. Even if you see that it's going to be a bad quality road, it is difficult to prove this before third party. For enforceability of a contract, it is crucial that the dispute should be verifiable. Reality is verifiable before third party, in this case court. But that is not the case here. Now the literature, economics literature and law and economics literature has suggested several mechanisms in such a situation when quality is not verifiable, how to make the contractor deliver quality. So this is the question asked, and the answers are basically in terms of making relationship between buyer and seller, government department and contractors, a long-term relationship. So basic idea is that if you are a government department and if you hire me as a contractor, and if you tell me that you will keep giving me business for next decades, but you will suspend your business, you will not give me any business if I shirk on quality. In such an arrangement, since I want your business in future, I will keep on delivering good quality, even if quality is not verifiable. Because as soon as I stop supplying good quality, you can credibly take away your business from me and give it to somewhere else. So fearing that loss, I will behave responsibly, and so that's the idea. Now, this mechanism does not work in government context. This idea can work in private setting. When both parties are private, then such arrangements, long-term arrangements, relational contracts, they work. Because if you are a private buyer, then and you see that my quality is poor, you don't need to prove to go to so to take away your future business away from me. You don't need to go to court. All you need to do is just tell me that that's all. That's it. End of relationship. End of business relationship. So you don't need to go to court. But if you are a government department, then if you are a government department, I supply bad quality. What can you do? You can sue me for present bad quality, and as I said, you have very little chance of winning because we will blame each other and court will not be able to tell. Can you take away business away from me, future business? No, because all future allocations of contracts have to be through competitive bidding. So as a government officer, you have to, as a government entity, you cannot simply rule me out, exclude me from future business, because government businesses are subject to some rules and regulations. As a result, what private parties can do, government departments cannot. Therefore, such mechanisms, such contracts that will work in case of private uh, situations will not work when both sides, when the buyer happens to be a government department. So unless you prove that I committed a mistake, I deliberately shirked on quality, you cannot stop me from participating in future bids you invite for building other roads, other buildings. So in such a situation, when contractors know that they cannot be penalized, government cannot take away their businesses, their future business, you can see that they will be tempted to shirk on quality, because reducing quality also reduces their cost. And everybody actually experiences this. And formally, so let's now make this discussion more concrete. If you think of roads or national highways, then you can think of roads in terms of output features and the quality. Any road you look at, there are things that you can tell. Engineers can look and see whether there are contractual deviations. For example, it's easy to tell whether a road is 4 lanes or not, whether it has paved shoulders or not, whether bus stops, bus plazas have been built or not. So those output features are verifiable. We call them verifiable because any contractual deviation from verifiable feature can easily be seen and proved before third party. Quality, on the other hand, depends on quality of construction. By the way, in the case of roads, a lot of action on quality happens underneath. What we see is top layer. A road has 3 layers, and most of the quality actually depends on what happens under the quality of material and construction underneath 2 layers, so which are not observable. So road contracts, procurement contracts are incomplete on quality dimension. They are complete on the dimension of the output features. So quality in particular remains a challenge. Now, this challenge, I'm going to suggest that this challenge can be partially addressed by simple changes in contract. Our traditional, so here in this slide, you see life cycle of a project, life cycle of a project. So first phase is planning phase, where government department plans whether they want to upgrade, let's say, Delhi to Mumbai road. And then they invite bids. After that decision has been taken, they invite bids, they choose a contractor. Once contractor has been chosen to build or upgrade Delhi-Mumbai road, construction starts. That phase is called construction phase. Once construction gets over, then road is available for usage. So then people can operate and the government can maintain this road. So I'm going to focus on construction and operation phases. Traditional contracts used to focus only on construction phase, meaning thereby contractor's responsibility used to be only for construction phase. On the other hand, what are called public-private partnership roads, those roads use contracts where the responsibility of the contractor extends to operation and maintenance. So basically, the contractor is made responsible, has responsibility during construction phase, but also during operation and maintenance phase. So, and this simple difference Actually, at one level, it's a big difference, but this simple bundling of responsibilities makes a big difference. That's what I'm going to argue. So the key features of PPP contracts are bundling. These two phases are bundled together and responsibilities are assigned to one and same entity. Under traditional contracts, there was no bundling. So contractor was around in the same length of the contract, contract duration, contract relation ended as soon as construction got over. But now under PPP, contract relation lasts till until 20 years after 20, in some cases less than 20, greater than 20 years. Basically, now it's a long-term relationship. Moreover, under PPP, there is a greater delegation of engineering decisions. Under traditional scheme of things, engineering department, government engineers will tell contractor not only what is to be built, but how to build it. But under PPP, government only tells what is to be built. 6-lane expressways connecting these cities with these features, but they don't tell them what engineering decisions should be made. So there's a greater delegation. As to now, in every contract, if a contractor is going to undertake some responsibility and deliver, they need compensation for that. Under traditional contract, the government department pays the required pre-agreed amount to the contractor. But in case of PPPs, the compensation price is paid either in the form of user fee, toll, whenever you use a PPP, say from Ahmedabad to Vadodara, you use expressway, you pay toll. So that toll is a fee charged by a contractor firm that invested in that project, that constructed that road, and is also maintaining the road. In other cases where toll is not allowed, government pays annuity. Biannual payments are made by government. These payments are pre-agreed. Moreover, these contracts provide incentive to contractor to build, to complete construction within time. And this incentive is provided by telling the contractor that, look, you cannot start charging user fee before you complete the road. So road completion is necessary before tolls can be introduced, before users can before the contractor can start charging user fee. So this is the basic idea. Now there is some formal, these ideas can be expressed mathematically. Basically, and I will not inflict a lot of mathematics on this, but just this slide. So from construction viewpoint, we can divide whatever construction construction company does during construction. We can divide all their activities in two types of activities. One is what we call their activities or their efforts that lead to observable changes in the output. For example, if they do not provide flyovers, required number of flyovers, toll plazas, other facilities on the road, then those deviations will be observable. So things that the activities that lead to observable changes or observable output, we call that effort, those activities observable. And those activities are denoted by X. In Y, on the other hand, we put in all the activities by contractor that are undertaken that reduce their cost but are not verifiable. These are cost reducing quality shading activities by contractor. They do all the search, they are looking for inferior quality material, cutting down their cost. All such activities are denoted by Y, and we are assuming that they can do this within the letter of the contract. So it's not possible to penalize them to prove that there are deviations from the contract. So all this is put together as a Y. So because of Y, because of such activities, quality of construction comes down, cost of construction also comes down, but quality comes down. And it is not surprising to see that if quality of construction is poor, then maintenance will be required more frequently. So there is inverse relationship between quality of construction and maintenance expenses. Some activities that reduce cost today, construction cost today, by compromising on quality will increase maintenance cost, and vice versa. So basically, that's the only mathematics I will use. Now, I'm going to present you the results. So the results are based on national highway data. So results today shared with you cover 450 national highways projects. Out of 450 projects, around 155 are PPP projects, and others were built using one PPP contracts, and others close to 300 were built using traditional non-PPP contracts. So different contracts have been used, and question is whether different contracts lead to different outcomes. First, see the results related to delivery time, project delays. So here you see the standard contracts are the traditional contracts, and PPP contracts are what we call PPP. So you can see that average delays. So here this slide gives you information about average delays. Average delays under traditional contracts are 109%. It means that if a contract was to be, if a road was to be built in 100 days, it was built in 209 days. So it took 109% time extra. In contrast, build roads that have been built using PPP contracts, they have experienced delays, but the delays are roughly half of the delays experienced by other contracts. And key to this result, that speedy delivery of roads under PPP is because these guys, contractors, are in rush. They are not allowed to charge toll without completing the road. So if they delay the road construction, it hurts their revenue stream. And what is noticeable here is that these roads, PPP and non-PPP contract roads, they are subject to same environmental regulations, forest regulation. They have to meet all the regulatory requirements are the same, and still you see this much of outcome. It's because it hurts somebody if they delay PPP roads, and it doesn't hurt anybody if a non-PPP road is delayed. Next, I present you results related to the quality. Let me check time. I think we are left with about 15. How many? Are we left with about 13, 14, 15 minutes? And we have to keep time for question answers also. So measuring. So now results related to quality. A little bit about how quality is measured. This is, I have measured the quality myself, and the measure used is an engineering measure. So these days there are instruments, you can mount them on a vehicle. So when you drive on a road with a vehicle, so vehicle receives vibration. Vibration received by vehicle depend on road condition. These instruments pick up all the vibrations received by vehicle, and using those vibrations, they measure quality of a road surface. So they convert an index. That index is called International Roughness Index. This is a widely used, globally used measure of road quality, road surface. So that is the measure that has been used. International Roughness Index has been prepared for different roads. Okay. Now, observations, data plotted if you collect vibrations on road and you plot them, this is how the plots will look like. When you see the plots like this, going really up there, it suggests a jerk, that there was a jerk on the road. Low vibrations suggest that there were low vibrations. So high vibrations or high index, it denotes bad quality of road. So this is how plots will look. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about the design of the research. It will not be a good idea. It will not be very scientific to pick up, to collect data on one road and for some other road randomly and then say one road is better than the other. That will not be a scientific study. Why it will not be? Because, if you think of road condition, if you find a road to be of bad quality, it could be due to several reasons. It could be that construction quality was bad, or it could be that road attracts a lot of traffic. heavy traffic that damages the road, even if it was good quality. Or it could be the area climatic conditions are such that it rains too frequently, or it experiences floods and therefore damage the road. So underground conditions also have bearing on life of road. So point is that there are many geological, climatic conditions, road conditions that have bearing on how a road will look like. So in such a situation, we don't want to compare apples with oranges, so we want to compare apples with apples. How do we go about it? Coming back to Delhi-Mumbai road, so since we are now at a different location, you can think of either Delhi-Mumbai road, if you are familiar, if you have traveled on that road, or any highway near you. Now, Delhi-Mumbai road, even though we can call it one road, one highway, but it has been built in different segments. Different segments of that highway, Delhi-Mumbai highway, have been built by different contractor firms. They have been built by, also different segments have been built using different contract. For example, if you start from Delhi towards Mumbai, then from Delhi to airport, there's one road segment on National Highway number 8. Then from airport towards near airport to Gurgaon is another. Within Gurgaon, there is another road segment. They all of them lie on Delhi-Mumbai highway. So this study is on projects, segments on same national highway. Near you or on, imagine two road segments on same national highway. So where one segment ends, other segment starts. When you travel on national highways, at times you will see the signboard, toll road starts, toll road begins, or toll road ends here. Those are beginning and end of different road segments, beginning or end of different contracts that are used. So identify, think of one such point. And suppose suppose this is, please bring your attention to the slide. Suppose we start from here, and suppose this is Delhi, and we move in this direction. If we move in this direction, then suppose we are moving towards Mumbai. Now, if we move on Delhi, and suppose here, you see sign of toll road ends here. As toll road ends here, other road segment starts immediately. So think of at a point where two road segments meet. At that point, since you are on same national highway, the geological condition, climatic conditions are going to be identical at that point, or within, let's say, 1 kilometer, 2 kilometer, either side of that point. Climatic conditions are going to be identical. Moreover, all the traffic that came from this side to this point will enter the other segment. So traffic conditions in this local neighborhood are also going to be identical. If we still find difference in their quality, then the difference can be attributed to the age of the road and the choice of the contract. So this is how this research has been designed. So we have data, I have data on age of the road and also the contract type. Engineering design capacity is same on any national highway. All road segments have had to meet same engineering capacity requirement. So with this design, data is collected from 84 roads that form 54 intersections. So remember, so on its near intersection that the data comparisons are plausible. Otherwise, they will not be plausible. So the data has been collected from 84 observations, but 84 projects, but 54 intersections. And the outcomes are, before you read this plot, please remember I told you that as index goes up, it suggests more vibrations, poor quality of road. Here you can see that the blue bar suggests the index for PPP, red suggests index for traditional contracts. And you can see the vibrations are higher. Vibrations are systematically higher for non-PPP, for traditional contracts. So clearly the contract seems to be making a difference to the quality of road. And these are regression results here. one has controlled for age difference in the road segments. So controlling for age also, the difference between PPP, non-PPP are statistically significant. PPP contracts lead to better quality road. That's what the research suggests. And by the way, this research, it so happened that when I was doing this research, NHAI on its own, carried out rating of road segments, and they also came out with similar finding. So they have come out with the ranking here. These are not vibration. In case of NHAI study, this is the ranking. My study is based on vibration. So higher vibration is poor quality. In case of NHAI, so they have come out with independent study that shows that PPP roads are of better quality. Now, I do not know whether they had designed their experiment so carefully or not, but point is that independently they have arrived at similar conclusion. So this is about quality. And why quality is higher? So quality is higher. What is interesting is that quality for PPP contract is higher. So if you think of one construction company, let's say L&T is one of the leading players, and I'm using this name only for illustration. So one contractor building roads under PPP contract will build road of different quality, and same contractor building road under traditional contract builds road of a different quality. So there are quality variations for any given contractor firm. So clearly, these contracts seem to be providing incentives. So, and this incentive come in the sense that that they provide under PPP contract. Remember, under PPP contract, a contractor has to bear the consequences of bad quality. If quality is bad, maintenance will be required more frequently. That's why, if they save 1 rupee on construction today, it will hurt them in terms of expenses of 2 rupees over maintenance. So it's in their own interest they choose to invest in quality, or they choose not to dilute the quality. That's the basic idea. So simple bundling can improve things, seems to be improving things in terms of quality. So within PPP, finally, if I can take just half a minute, within PPPs, PPP has several types of, there are contractual variations within PPPs also. So within PPPs, contracts are of two types: toll contracts and annuity contracts. Toll contractor can charge user fee. Annuity contractor is not allowed to charge user fee. They get paid by the government. Now, if I have to ask you, when will a contractor care more about quality of road, under a toll contract or annuity contract? Remember, both types of contractor care about quality, because poor quality will hurt them. But toll contractor has added incentive to attract more traffic, since more traffic will lead to more revenue for them. So they care for quality more than annuity contractors, because for annuity contractor, consideration is only the maintenance cost. Otherwise, government pay them. What they get does not depend on the traffic. So between the two, one would expect toll contractor to care more for quality. That also shows up in terms of quality, and also cost of construction. As the cost of construction goes up, quality goes up. Basically, this is I have already summarized these findings. PPP contracts deliver time. The delay are shorter for PPPs, and quality seems to be better. So contracts matter even when they are incomplete. Contract matters even when the quality of the product is not verifiable. That's the message. I'll stop here, but I'm happy to take questions.
Can I ask one question?
Sure.
So I don't know, but I was thinking that, don't you think that sometime due to this traffic, I think that also do provide the, what you said, the monetary incentive to the PPP projects, and that may be reason to the good quality, maybe possibility may be there. And one other observation, what I found in one specific project which I was researching, in that these triple P companies, info companies are coming in insolvency, sir. Many of the companies are going, and only reasons behind that those people triple P project which are near to the urban, yeah, near to the cities, those tolls and those road which are near to the urban cities, yeah, that which are now changed the geography and otherwise it is changed. uh, the model what they have prepared in long term from the cost point of view, I think they are also facing some trouble. If you want to comment on that.
Thank you, Hitesh. So this your question speaks to two issues related to PPPs. One question is the contractor facing issues in the sense that they had expected some traffic, there was some traffic forecast, but actual traffic turned out to be less. On this count, several contracts have been cancelled, especially, I think in Gujarat, there was a very long contract, Ahmedabad, Vadodara, Ahmedabad. It was really, I don't remember the name, but two, three big contracts were cancelled in Gujarat and also in other states. This was a peculiar situation that happened around 2012 to 14, where there was irrational exuberance. People wanted to, industrialist companies wanted to invest wherever they could, roads included. But very soon they realized that the traffic is less. They didn't get bank funding, so financial closures were not achieved. So most of those contracts never took off, meaning thereby that the bids were invited, bids contracts were assigned, but the execution work did not start. Those contracts have been re-awarded now. Okay. That was an issue. Now, does that affect what I am saying? In my defense, I say that the projects so those projects do not appear here because construction never started on them, or construction started little bit, but no meaningful construction was done. So those projects, they never appeared on the horizon. They appeared in government records and disappeared. Legal battles are going on, but for the purpose of empirical study, studying difference between PPP, non-PPP, they are immaterial because nothing tangible happened. The other point raised by you is that it's only near urban centers that PPPs seem to be coming up. That point is also valid, but it can potentially have implications for the empirical analysis. Because these contracts, award of contract between PPP and non-PPP, it is not random assignment. So PPP contracts require investment from investors, contractors, contractor firms. Construction firms, contractor firms will make investment where they feel they can make money. They will, and therefore they are attracted towards projects near urban centers, because near urban centers there's a lot of traffic. Or highways that connect mega cities. For example, Delhi-Mumbai highway, it has several big cities and it has attracted many PPPs. So since in such an environment, issue of endogeneity arises because contract allocation is not assigned. Potentially something that could affect PPP, non-PPP status, and also the construction cost and quality. That endogeneity issue can arise, and this is how I have taken care of endogeneity issue. So in 2005, for the purpose of my study, in 2005, Government of India had introduced several policy measures to promote PPP. These policy measures were mostly streamlining, standardizing contract terms, providing clear, transparent regulatory framework to govern these contracts and contractual disputes. So as a result, one would expect more PPPs to come in. And that shows up in this plot also. Since 2005, more PPPs have come up. Share of PPPs in overall highway construction across the country has gone up. But these measures do not affect construction. Remember, they incentivize investors to come in. but they do not affect their construction cost and their quality. So therefore, this 2005 policy has been used as an instrument by me. And the results are statistically very significant. The construction cost, two things have happened since PPPs. Overall construction, construction cost for PPPs is significantly high, even when you study cost comparisons using this instrument, 2005 policy, as an instrument. And this high cost in turn leads to better quality. So I have used, IV approach to address this concern. I can take non-technical questions also. So you are welcome to ask technical question, also explanatory question, or whatever kind of question related to this, it's okay. All right, then. It seems like we can conclude the session. Is there?
There's a question, Professor.
Can you please read out?
Yes. What would be the effect of standard form contracts on two aspects? The delay in delivery is first, and second is measuring of road quality. This is by Anant.
Okay. So Anant, contracts have been standardized for PPPs and also for non-PPPs. The standardization of contracts brings in transparency. It improves predictability of the relation between buyer and seller. But in itself, it cannot do anything about the quality. The quality, whether quality will be provided by the contractor or not, it depends on whether the quality is verifiable or not. Standardization of contract terms does not ensure quality. But you may be now thinking that, what if I bring the roughness or quality? What if I explicitly talk about quality in my contract? How will you do that? Suppose we want to do that. How will we do that? So maybe you could say that, what if we use International Roughness Index to tell a contractor that the quality should be good as measured by International Roughness Index. At the time the road gets completed, 6 months after that, 1 year after that, 6 years after that, 10 years after that. Such contracts will not take off, because even if contractor delivers good quality road, and if state PWD department does not maintain it, then road will fail this criteria. Contractor will fear getting penalized for the fault of the other side. So bringing quality in standardized form, in this form, will not work. The way it works, the reason it works in PPP is that the entity that is responsible for showing quality, and the entity that can do something about quality. In the first phase, through construction, through quality of construction, and subsequently through maintenance. That entity is responsible for showing quality. So actions and outputs responsibilities are assigned to one entity. That is crucial. So if you take a view, if you want to standardize this view, but then you are basically talking about PPP contracts. So the key here is bundling of responsibilities. That's the key. Within bundling, as you standardize more, so you can reduce contract related risk, and that will further improve efficiency.
So what is the life of a road? I mean, what would be the standard estimate?
So life of road actually depends on traffic conditions. You know, if traffic does not increase, then a road can easily last for 20 to 25 years. So let's say German roads, American roads, they can easily last for 30 years. But Indian roads do not. The reason Indian roads do not last for 30 years because traffic goes up. As traffic goes up, you know, there were times, perhaps you might have seen those times in when Ahmedabad and Vadodara, 4-lane road was good enough. And that road could have survived for 30 years, 25 years, 30 years. Problem is that when traffic goes up, when 4 lanes can't accommodate traffic, you have to expand, you have to rebuild the roads. That shortens life of road in Indian condition. In any economy where traffic is increasing, either you plan ahead, so that in the beginning you plan roads for life horizon of 30 years, 40 years. But then it would mean that when 4-lane roads would have sufficed, you still provided 8 lanes road. It will look over capacity, excess capacity for some time. Or you make do with what present demands, and then you rebuild. But that shortens life of the road.
So factoring in the life of the road, any views on factoring the life of the road? Any views on the costs that are saved against the bad quality that is prevalent? How would that look like?
That's an important question. Question is, today I have focused only on construction cost. But how about maintenance cost? How about the benefits that come from good quality? Or how about the costs that are imposed by bad quality? I have not measured those costs, and I don't think there are serious studies related to those costs. But that's something one should do. We should do.
Thank you.
Since you are seated in Gujarat, I can tell you the road that connects Rajkot to Somnath. It's one of the best. Not Rajkot. No, there's a place. There's a place before Junagadh.
Jamnagar.
No, Jamnagar is the other side. So if you start from Rajkot and you go to Junagadh, there's a town midway. Do you remember the name? I can give you name. So somewhere before Junagadh, about 40-50 kilometers before Junagadh, towards Rajkot, there's a town. From that town to Somnath is one of the best roads in India, as measured by this measure.
Right, sir.
Is there something of this name? Anyway, all right. Okay, thank you so much. It was good to talk to you.
Anand is asking, is it Bhavnagar?
I can look it up. Why don't you, Anand? Why don't you look up Google Map from Rajkot to Somnath?
And also,
It's not Bhavnagar.
Also,
No,
Professor, in your
I may know more about geography of Gujarat, it seems, than you do.
And also, sir, in your exhaustive study of contracts, have you come across situations where underperformance of the promise has led to way higher positive externalities?
Underperformance.
Underperformance of a promise has led to way higher positive externalities than that was envisaged in the performance of the contract.
Oh, you mean negative externality?
Positive externalities.
Positive externality.
This is in view of the way you started the session with regard to underperformance.
Yes. Yes, please complete. Sorry, I'm sorry. The Gondal is name of the town. Gondal to Somnath is Okay, is really one of the best roads. Yes. Yeah, please repeat your question.
I was just asking, sir, in your exhaustive study of contracts, have you found a situation in which underperformance of the promise has led to very high positive externalities?
I don't think so. That is.
Let me assist you, Professor. It is the point that you mentioned when you started your session. You know, and a promise which was underperformed. That would be an instance.
That would be an instance. Yes. That's right. Yeah, it's like yes, that is right. You know, something similar to, you know, I said, yes, you start swimming, make a jump, and I'm there to hold you. So you make a jump, and even if the other side is not there to hold you, you learn to swim in the process. And once you learn, then you can traverse hundreds of nautical miles. That's what you have done. Yes.
No, in terms of aggregate surplus, enhancement in aggregate surplus. That is not just my role; it is also your role in multiple capacities, including bringing GNLU in close contact with Nobel laureates.
I think GNLU is my academic home. Even if I am not physically present at intellectual level, I'm very much present in almost every semester, virtually or telephonically through emails. You know, it's a Center for Law and Economics there. It's something that I feel very close to and very much part of it.
That's a privilege, Professor. With that, are we concluding the session?
From my side, yes, unless there are questions.
Okay, Dr. Thakkar.
Ma'am, actually, Hitesh sir has already gone on to the technical session because he's one of the chairs.
Then we'll conclude. Yeah.
Thank you so
Professor
much, sir.
Ramsingh, we take your permission to conclude the session, please.
Sure, please. Okay. Have a good evening.
Good
Thank you
evening,
so much,
Professor.
sir.
Namaskar.
Namaskar.
I would like to request all the attendees to kindly log into the technical session link and move there, because we'll again be ending the session here and be back with the second plenary session with Professor Stephen Voigt at 6:15 in the evening. Thank you so much, everyone. Ma'am, I'll be now ending the.
Thank you, Shreya. Thank you, sir. Yes.